Good morning. I'm in the art studio right now. I'm doing a little bit of tidying up on the weekend, and I wanted to point out something here. These notebooks and sketchbooks here, these were all childhood drawings from about third grade through about maybe fifth grade or so. These notebooks, these sketchbooks, there's a trapper keeper there, they're all falling apart. And my goal is to take these books apart and preserve the art in some nice professional portfolios. That way I can share them with you, and they will be preserved for future generations, and I'll have the date and everything on them. So they're not. So right now they're not really in a good position for me to show you because they're kind of falling apart, and I don't want to touch them too much until I'm ready. But I do want to point out this book because this is a book that I got probably in third grade. Maybe I was a little younger. And this is the type of book I would have been using as a resource when I was working in that Trapper Keeper or in those sketchbooks and notebooks and things like that. So where did I get this book? This is a Scholastic book. And back then, once a week, we would be given a little catalog on newsprint, just one page folded. And for a very little amount of money, we could order books and they would come in the next week. So typically, we would order something like a Choose Your Own Adventure or a Garfield or a Peanuts book. But one week, I got the drawing book. Now, the price listed here is $5.95. I'm pretty sure I probably spent like $3 on it. I don't. These were very cheaply priced for very young children. And this was spiral bound, which was good because this is a book that was tossed into my book bag or that I carried around, probably on the playground or in a van or in a school bus. During a time like this, obviously we still had recess at that age, so I would have taken this outside, which would explain all the scratches and smudges on it, and I would have drawn outside. This is also a time when teachers would read aloud to us during kind of a pseudo nap time where we were awake, but the teacher is reading, and some children would probably sleep, and I would stay awake and doodle in one of these old books. So this has some very good information, especially for a younger artist. Nowadays, I think a lot of artists get their information from the internet, and so do I. I think that's very useful. And an advantage of the internet is we can actually watch an artist. We can watch his hands, and we can actually see what he's doing, although some of that can be obscured with digital art. But I think this is still a good reference because this gives some concrete examples that the child can hold and study. So I flipped to the back. This has a little bit of everything for the young artist, but I flipped to the back for the animals because I'm fairly certain I traced or copied or was inspired by drawings of all of these animals, and I will not be surprised if I find animals in those sketchbooks that are not unsimilar. So you see how they've broken this down into very basic shapes, and there's very basic language for a young reader. And this is just a very good resource for an elementary school student. I'm sure things like this are still made nowadays. I certainly hope so. I do remember that as I got a little older, titles started coming out where draw the anime way or how to draw manga. That started becoming popular. There are also how to draw the Marvel way, how to draw superheroes. That started coming out at about this time period, maybe a little after. But still, these are good foundational drawings for a young person, and I have little snippets of memories of being on the playground and having this book next to me, and I was probably drawing with a sketchbook on my knees. Anyway, and of course I left a giant smudge. So, the drawing book from elementary school. Goodbye.